Welcome to the 2019 Wathen Family Farm Day. The Wathen Family Farm is here in Evansville, Indiana on the Ohio River Flats, and the neat thing about this farm is there are over 50 four-wheel drive tractors here and a number of other tractors. We're going to take a look at all the history that has been collected here with a big focus on Steiger, home-built tractors. There's big buds, a versatile, and many other interesting things to see. And we're going to start walking around to learn about their history. Here are two Steiger tractors you're not going to see every day. These are Bicentennial editions for the 200th birthday of the United States back in 1976. We have a Steiger Panther 2 and a Cougar 3. Let's take a look at these models and learn a little bit more about them. Only 37 Steigers were painted in red, white, and blue. Most of them delivered in the fall of '75. And the first one we have here, we can look down at the card here, Steiger Panther 2. It's powered by a Cummins 855. This one is owned by Snyder Farms and Excavating, and they brought it across the river from Kentucky to share here at the farm day. Beautiful tractor. This tractor was originally sold by Huber Equipment in Pennsylvania in October of '75. And it looks as good as the day it was sold. It has a Steiger blade on the front of it. This tractor was originally bought by Norris Heyman of Ridgely, Maryland, and then made its way to Kentucky after Norris passed away in the early 2000s. Beautiful tractor, hand painted in Fargo, North Dakota by Walt's Body Shop. And if you want to see a full story on this machine on Big Tractor Power YouTube, just type in Spirit of 76 Steiger and you'll find two different videos on it actually working out in the field. The second Spirit tractor is a Cougar ST370. The Panther 2 is an ST310, 310 horsepower. This one's 270 horsepower. On January 17th, 1976, Steiger introduced the new Series 3 tractors, and probably the last two, number 36 and 37 of the hand-painted Spirit tractors, were Series 3 models. This one's got a 3306 Caterpillar engine in it. Again, it's got a Steiger dozer blade, and it has a special Spirit tag here on the grill along with the red, white, and blue color scheme. And you can see that 76 emblem on there just behind the dozer blade. Great looking tractors. It would be awesome to actually see these two plowing up some dirt side by side in the field. When it comes to Steiger history, the three tractors parked here have a lot of history to them and importance in the overall line of Steiger. The first tractor we can look at here is a Steiger 105, 1961 model. This is the first Steiger tractor sold by the Steiger brothers. They built their own tractor in the 57-58 wintertime period and then built one of these 105s shortly after that. This was a seeding tractor. The original Barney Steiger was a big tillage tractor. This one was built to pull seeders to put winter wheat in the ground. It's powered by a 371 Detroit. There were two prototypes built before this tractor. It has Allis-Chalmers WC differentials and final drives. There were three 105s built. This one came from Sowers, North Dakota, and it was built by John, Douglas, and Maurice Steiger. Great piece of history, and we're going to see the farm owner, Chris Wathen, hop on this tractor and turn it on. The great thing about a lot of the tractors here at the farm is they all run. And I look forward to seeing this one out in the field someday. Now that we've seen the Steiger 105 run, let's take a look at this International 4366. This was the first articulated international four-wheel drive tractor. In fact, this is serial number 1. If you collect IH literature, this 4366 is most likely the tractor that was featured in that brochure. The 4366 was introduced as new in 1972, I believe, and was offered through the 76 model year. Later production models have a red cab, and the early ones have the white cab. Very cool to have serial number 1 International with the serial number 1 Steiger that was available for sale. Here's a 50th anniversary Steiger 535 put out by Case IH in late 2007, early 2008. It culminates 50 years of tractor production by Steiger that includes models like this early 1961 105, the International 4366 in the mid-80s, International, Case, Steiger all came together. There were 50 gold-hooded 535s produced. They feature this gold hood, which was inspired by the 1971 International Harvester 56 series golden demos. They have a 50 years of Steiger decal and a special note signed by the president of Case IH on the door telling you that it's one of 50 tractors built this way. They were also celebrating 20 years of Magnum production and built 100 gold demo Magnums during this time period, and they were model 305s. Great tractor. This is the main workhorse on the farm today. It pulls a 45-foot wide Kraus Landsman soil finisher and works with many of the other Steigers here on the farm out in the field. Steiger is probably the best known articulated four-wheel drive tractor in the world, and the early models were all built in a dairy barn. These are known as the barn-built tractors. There's a good lineup of them here. One of the last barn-built tractors was the 800 Tiger. This was the first of the cat-named Steigers. This one was built at the Steiger farm, and then after that, production began in a factory in Fargo, North Dakota, where the modern-day 620 horsepower Case IH quad tracks are built. The Tiger 800 was powered originally by a 903 Cummins, and then this one has been repowered with an 855 Cummins. There were 26 of them built, very rare in Steiger history, and neat to see here on the Wathen farm. Before the Tiger, and then all the other ones that followed, the Wildcats, the Bearcats, the Cougars, the Panthers, the Tigers, and the Lions, was this 2250. It says Tiger on the side, and it's powered by a 903 Cummins, but it's one of 8 tractors built. It's a barn-built model. It looks a lot like a Steiger Tiger 1, but it is actually a model 2250. This one came from Chamberlain, South Dakota, and we can look up here on the frame and actually take a look here in the side and see where it says 2250. And as we come up close on the frame, you can actually see where it says 2250 over here, -3. So rare tractor in Steiger history. Most people haven't even heard of the 2250, but they are out there. The Steiger 3300 was the largest Steiger offered in the 1960s in the barn-built V series of tractors. This was a monster in its day, and I really hope to get to see this one out in the field working and turning up some dirt. There were only 7 of them built. It's powered by an 8V71 Detroit. It has a Clark power shift transmission, has a dry clutch, and it's just an impressive tractor. This was an absolute monster in 1968 and 1969 when the 3300 was offered. The next biggest tractor in the lineup during that time was the 2200. This is a 1968 model featuring Terra tires, nicknamed Fatso because of the large single flotation tires. It's powered by a 6V71 Detroit diesel. 41 2200s were built, came with a 10-speed transmission. This one came out of Saskatchewan, Canada, and is only one of 2 with these big Terra tires. We can come down here and see some of the 1700s. Here's a nice Detroit diesel, naturally aspirated with these twin stacks. You can see that chrome plating up here on the engine. This has got to have a mean sound when it's running out in the field. Here we can see some more with the duals and single tires, those V grills. These are big, heavy, solid steel tractors, and they cut the V out simply to let the engine breathe. A lot of heat would build up under there, and they're just cool looking tractors. In their day, they were the biggest machines around. So that kind of gives you a look at the 1700s, the 2200s, 3300, and models like the 2250 and the Tiger 800. Steiger built a lot of tractors. Most of them were in the company green, but they also built for other companies and special occasions. They built for International Harvester, Ford, Allis-Chalmers, and Co-op. Here's a Co-op Implements Cougar 2. Co-op contracted with Steiger for the Cougar 2 and the Bearcat 2, and then before that the Cougar 1 and Bearcat 1. This orange tractor is a very rare model. It features a 3306 cat engine. This one came out of Chinook, Montana, and is a one-owner machine. Probably the only Co-op implement sold in the United States. Co-op also contracted with Deutz and Volvo to offer two-wheel drive models. For the Bicentennial of the United States, Steiger painted up 37 red, white, and blue tractors. We saw that Cougar 3 and that Panther 2, but here is a Turbo Tiger 2 featuring the red, white, and blue color scheme. This one needs restoration, but it's a cool tractor because there's only 37 and there's 3 of them sitting on the farm today. This one is powered by a 320 horsepower 903 Cummins engine. Now here's a green Steiger, but it was originally painted pink. Sold in Oklahoma, Tala, Oklahoma to be exact. There was only one built, known as the Pink Panther, and it was repainted into green. But if we look at this ST310 up close, we can see the pink paint is showing through. This would be a very cool tractor to see restored someday, and I'm pretty sure it's on the Wathen's list to get back in its original pink paint, and that will be a cool tractor to see rolling out in the field. Here's an Allis-Chalmers 440. This again is the same as a Bearcat. Allis-Chalmers partnered with Steiger through the mid-1970s, offering this early 440 with a white cab and a later model with the orange. It's got the triple nickel 555 Cummins in it. Just a great piece of horsepower and orange history that came out of Fargo, North Dakota as part of the Land Handler series in the early to mid-1970s. The Wathens have a great spread of Steiger history on the farm, and one of the more interesting pieces is this Ford FW40. Ford contracted with Steiger to build a lineup of four-wheel drive tractors in the late 1970s through the 1980s. They were offered and introduced in the fall of '77 and built all the way through 1982. The Ford FW40 was only produced for 1 year. There was also a model FW20, 30, and 60. They used 903 Cummins V8 engines, and this one still has that original engine intact. They've got a great sound out in the field, and I hope to get to see this one turning up some dirt someday. The Steiger Turbo Tiger 2 was the largest Steiger built in 1974 and 1975 at 320 horsepower. It has great classic 1970s looks and is just an impressive tractor overall. This uses a Cummins 903 engine inside it and has a great sound when it's working ground out in the field. Many people may wonder which tractors get used in the field. Well, here are two of the main workhorses. A Steiger Panther ST325, 325 horsepower tractor. It does a lot of disking here on the farm. Probably the most reliable machine in the operation. Another big workhorse is this Steiger Panther 1000. It pulls a Landau disc and Brilliant Packer, working up the ground ahead of that 45-foot soil finisher back there. This is a KP 1360 rated at 360 horsepower. This was one of the last green Steigers produced before they went to red after becoming part of Case IH.
Another main workhorse on the farm is this Steiger Puma 1000 tractor. It pulls a Kinsey 3700 planter to plant the farm's corn crop, and I have a short clip here to show you of the Puma 1000 and 24-row Kinsey at work out in the field.
The farm really enjoys collecting and saving tractors, and there are some that need a little more help than others. Way off there in the trees you can see a Steiger Turbo Tiger 2, a Wagner WA-17. This is another one of the Steiger 3300s parked back here. Some older Molines and Internationals. We've got two international tractors built by Steiger. This one here is believed to be the last 4568 built. As we saw earlier in our tour, the farm has serial number 14366, and here is the 4568. This tractor was built through 1976 and was replaced by the 4586 that year, and it is believed that this is possibly the very last 68 built. And we can see there is a donor tractor part next to it for parts to help it get up and running, and hopefully we'll see this out in the field turning some dirt. Several other older pieces of iron out here. We've got an industrial 1700. Another one of the barn built tractors. And another one of the green 1700s on display. I know a lot of people comment when they see these tours of the farm, why are they rusty? Or, a lot of them went into retirement or were not well cared for, but it's great that the Wathen family has taken the time to collect these and preserve their history so they don't end up in a scrapyard. And hopefully over time, many of them will be restored and put back to their classic looks. But half the battle is just finding these rare tractors to even have that chance to restore them. And I really appreciate what the Wathens have done to preserve tractor history.
I hope you've enjoyed the tour of the Steiger collection at the Wathen Family Farm. This is a really impressive collection that has taken many years to put together. To take 60 years of Steiger history, finding these unique and rare models. As a tractor fan, I've known about a lot of these machines through sales literature and books, but if I wanted to see them and the Wathens had not been able to collect together this history, I would have had to travel all over the United States and Canada in hopes of just seeing a few of these tractors in person. The Steiger collection is part one of the 2019 Wathen Family Farm Day collection tour. In part two, we'll take a look at the farm's Big Bud, Wagner, versatile, and homemade tractor collection, as well as classic row crop tractors, classic farm trucks, and construction equipment. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing this video, and if you'd like to see more like it, consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there are over 1,000 videos of farm machines in action. If you have any questions or thoughts about the video, please leave them in the comment section below, as I try to respond to every post that is made. If you would like to see what is coming up next on Big Tractor Power YouTube, Check out Big Tractor Power Instagram, where I share pictures and short videos of what is currently being filmed in the field. As always, thank you for watching.